Hello, my friends. This is Jay Wilkins79. How are you doing out there today? Well, I'm going to do something new on my channel. Every Wednesday, which is today, of course, I'm going to be doing a movie review. Now, I have done movie reviews in the past. I've done short movie reviews. I'm going to try to do reviews a little bit longer and kind of go into more detail. Now, I'm going to try to not give away spoilers. If I do give away some spoilers, you might want to go ahead and watch the movie first and then come back to the review. At the end of this video, I'm going to also update people on what's in theaters and what's going to be coming out. So today's movie I'm doing is Summer Rental from 1985, John Candy, and I'm going to cheat just a little bit and see the rest of the cast. Karen Austin, Carrie Green, which is she's really good in it, and Joey Lawrence is actually plays the son. Richard Crenna, Rip Torn, John Larroquette, Richard Hurd. Now, it's directed by Carl Reiner. I watched it a few weeks ago. I've always loved Summer Rental. Basically, John Candy is a air traffic control pilot, and he's having a really bad day, and the boss says you need a vacation. So John Candy gets his family together, and they go on a trip. And when they get there, this other family comes knocking on the door at night, and John Candy's family has the wrong house, which is a very funny scene. I really enjoyed that one. You know, John Candy comedies, you can't go wrong. Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin. I liked Who's Harry Crumb? I liked that movie. That wasn't bad. He also got Spaceballs. He was in that. I did like his last movie, Wagons East, even though I know he wasn't feeling very well in that movie, but I still like it. But getting back to Summer Rental, John Candy's family is having a good time, but he seems to be the only one that's kind of struggling to have a good time. He gets injured. This beautiful neighbor comes over and asks. This is kind of weird. She wants to show him her, you know what, and just make sure they're real. And John Candy's like, yeah, they look real. Um, anyway, so he's home a lot. He doesn't. The dog locks him out of the beach house, lake house, whatever. And before they get all to that, there's a really funny scene where he's walking with his daughter, and it's on the picture of the movie poster where he's walking with the cooler, and the cooler has a leak on it, and it's getting everybody wet with cold water. That's a great scene. I love it. And when he finally gets to the beach, he gets depressed because he plays volleyball with his son Joey Lawrence, and uh, they don't do too well. He doesn't do too well. He knocks over the net. So, and then they meet Richard Crenna. And let me get into Richard Crenna. Of course, you may know him from the Rambo movies, opposite Sylvester Stallone. They go to a restaurant, John Candy's family. They want lobster. Of course, it's a lobster seafood place, kind of like Red Lobster. Excuse me. Oh, and Richard Crenna plays this really, real jerk, and he does a great job. I've never seen Richard Crenna play a role like this. And John Candy's family waits for a table for it seems like an hour, over an hour. John Candy gets frustrated because Richard Crenna and his party get right in. It's not fair. So John Candy confronts Richard Crenna, and it's a great scene. Rip Torn, when he comes into the movie, I can't talk. He owns a restaurant called Sully's, and Rip Torn also rents out. You can go sailing. He does a lot of things around there, and you see when they order food at his restaurant, the cook has microwave meals ready to go. That's pretty funny too. This movie's a really lighthearted comedy. You know, 80s comedies are the best, I'll have to say. And a lot of 80s movies are the best, I would say. And this is one of the best John Candy movies in my opinion. So basically, Richard Crenna, every year he wins this sailing race, and John Candy has an idea because he doesn't want to have to pay the rent to Richard Crenna because he's being a jerk about it. Because he owns the house that John Candy's family is renting out. So Rip Torn is talking about how much of a jerk he is, and John Candy knows that Richard Crenna is a jerk. So John Candy has an idea to enter the boat race, the sailing race, and they get this boat. It's really ugly. They try to fix it up, his whole family, and eventually they enter the race. And that's as far as I'll take this review. Uh, if you've never seen it, if you're a John Candy fan, this is must see John Candy. And I do have a fault with the movie a little bit. There's a lot of scenes where they just show like the boat out in the water and you can't see the people talking. So it's overdubbing. The people on the boat aren't really talking. It looks like it's just they overdubbed it. There's a lot of that. That's just me nitpicking. It's a great movie otherwise. I just have a problem with that because they do that a lot where they show a scene and it's just overdubbing. I don't think they're really talking. They're talking on the overdub, and that's just me being picky. Out of 5 stars, I will give it 5. This is a 5-star movie, 5-star comedy from the 80s. If you like John Candy, you got to see this movie. You really do. So that's my review on Summer Rental 1985. I love it. I've always loved it, and that'll do it for that. I also want to get into some upcoming movies at the theater real quick at the end of this video. Let's go right into it. And let's go on IMDb to cheat a little bit. Glass is coming out with Samuel L. Jackson and, oh, I always forget his name, James McAvoy. This is the sequel to Split and Unbreakable. Security guard David Dunn uses his supernatural abilities to track Kevin Wendell Crumb, a disturbed man who has 24 personalities. And Bruce Willis, of course, is in it. There's also a movie called The Harrises. Okay. Here's one called I can't talk today. An Acceptable Loss. Here's one, Adult Life Skills. What are in theaters now? The Upside with Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart, Nicole Kidman. That's on my list to see. Aquaman, directed by James Wan. I've heard that's really good from reviews. A Dog's Way Home. That might be the one with the talking dog in it. I'm not quite sure. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Have not yet seen that. I want to. Drizzleland, saw that. Escape Room is also playing. I want to see that. Stars Taylor Russell, Logan Miller, Jay Ellis. Tyler Labine's in that. Mary Poppins Returns. I have no interest in seeing that, but if you do, that's out in theaters. Bumblebee, directed by Travis Knight. On the Basis of Sex. Felicity Jones, Armie Hammer, Sam Waterston, Justin Theroux. Here's The Mule with Clint Eastwood. That's on my list to see. Another Clint Eastwood movie. And Vice. This is with Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Steve Carell, Sam Rockwell. It's about Dick Cheney. So thanks for sticking with me on this video. I'm going to be putting these out every Wednesday. I want to get a little bit longer and more in depth in my movie reviews. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, that's great if you like what I'm doing. And I will see you all later. This has been Jay Wilkins 79. Have a great day, everybody. See you later.